Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker, and today I want to talk about the Manosphere grifts. I am not the arbiter of what is or is not or does not belong to the Manosphere. I'm sure if you asked some users, they might have a completely different take or a different idea of what the Manosphere is. But one of the things that is important to me as not only as a content creator, but as a guy that is kind of threading his way through the craziness of today is it seems more and more that I've been at this now 2 or 3 years, and it seems that there are more and more that are coming on board, and I'm fine with that. I'm all fine for content creators and other people coming out and joining the Manosphere to talk about men's causes. So let me be clear about that first. Even if I disagree with the way they come about it or their editing techniques or their thoughts on things, as long as they're putting out a positive message about men and for men, I think it's great. And the more the merrier. Even if that means in a couple of years, new content comes out, people find that's more interesting and they jump on board with that, and my channel slowly fades and dies into oblivion, my job is done. I held up the one corner of a multi-poled tent for a few years, and I had fun doing it, and I got to know a lot of you and enjoy it. But my problem is right now there seem to be a hell of a lot of grifters coming on board. And it's been a few years where there's content creators that are in the pickup game that are coming out. There's other ones that are saying, well, I'm part of the Manosphere and I'll teach young men how to become men. And then it turns out they're kind of toxic. Turns out they're kind of bad people, and they're giving the wrong message. The one I want to talk about today is a guy named Jack Murphy. Now, Jack Murphy, he's he calls himself a Democrat to deplorable. He's been on Tim Pool's show. He just did a podcast on You Are Here a day or two ago. And hey, lay down, shush. And we have somebody walking by the window apparently, and he comes out and he says, hey, I'm part of the Manosphere, and I'm going to teach young men and people how to be positive role models and be strong. And I enjoyed watching him on Tim Pool. I've enjoyed watching him on other content creators, and I've watched some of his stuff. But from the You Are Here, now normally I don't punch down. It has 122,000 subs, but Elijah Schaefer, who did this interview, he also does a podcast, or he has his own channel, which is called Slightly Offensive, and that's got like 420. So combined, he's got like 500,000 subs. So I don't feel I'm punching down any. And he had Elijah had on, Jack Murphy to talk about let me pause this to make sure it doesn't automatically play. He had on Jack Murphy on the show to talk about different things, and where this matters is the last about 10 minutes of the video. And why I'm getting into this is because always pay attention to what people do, not what they say. And I'm going to have to call Jack Murphy out now and tear him down a couple of pegs, and I'll explain why. So first, and I'm sorry if I'm a little jumbled here. I just don't know which way I want to explain all of this. This is from the video cast that was done just a couple of nights ago. And Sydney Watson, who does the video cast with Elijah Schaefer, Sydney got a super chat that she decided to read. Because they're reading super chats. She's reading a super chat, and I want you to see how Jack Murphy responds to her. And then we're going to talk about what she was talking about. So let's watch this first.
Could you please clear up the cuck article you wrote?
I am not going to talk about this.
Okay.
And basically, you know what? F you for bringing this up right here and right now. Why are you doing this to me?
I didn't know that. I didn't know what it was.
Well, just use a little bit of fucking common sense.
Sorry, apologies.
Yeah. F you.
Heartfelt. Elizabeth Harrison says, gonna miss the show, but have a good break.
And so she didn't. Now, if she was just asking him about it and she knew it was a sensitive topic for him, I could see his response. But the fact that she's just reading a super chat, all he had to say is, you know what, that's a sensitive topic. I'll deal with it another time. But instead, he directly attacks Sydney like it was something she did. That's not what you can tell is it struck a nerve with him. And when that's a good way to tell when a guy can handle his past, the decisions he's made, and things that he's done in his life. If somebody hits on a sore topic, you can say, you know what, I've moved on past that. I don't want to talk about it right now. Moving on. Or say, hey, you know what, I'll address that later in another topic. Instead, he lashes out at somebody. Now, it's not that I'm like protecting Sydney. She's a grown adult and she could protect herself if she wanted to. My point, and if it was a dude that said the same thing about a super chat and he attacked a dude the same way, I'd say the same thing. So this is not about Sydney being female or male or any of that stuff. What it's about is the way that Jack Murphy responded to something that he didn't like. And the way he responded, you could see, number one, it hit a nerve. And number two, he did not handle it very masculine at all, if you ask me. Okay, and as a matter of fact, if you go to the video and you watch the super chat or the chat that is going by, a lot of people felt the same way. I'm going to move it forward here just a little bit. And here's Elijah when he was signing off the video. And this is, again, another problem I have, is that whenever that somebody wants to criticize, ask you a question, talk to you about something, grill you on something, or challenge you on something, there's two ways you can handle it. Number one, you can debate it. Number two, you can say, hey, you know what? That sounds like we're 2 hours into a show. Let's do another show on that sometime. That you can always tell when somebody has a truly masculine frame, when they are stoic, when they have their crap together. I'm going to put this on YouTube, so I got to watch the language. When they have their crap together, because please challenge me on everything. We'll have a debate. And you know something? If I lose the debate, I'll say, hey, you know what? You have some very good points. I'll need to think about that or whatever. That's how a stoic, strong individual deals with it. But Elijah decides to come to bat for Jack Murphy and criticize the people that decided to, or the person that decided to ask this, and he decided to criticize his own chat talking about it. And I want you to hear what he says in regards to this.
Hey, where can people find you? What's the best way they can support you?
Yeah, at Jack Murphy Live on Twitter, and Jack Murphy Live on YouTube is the best place.
And I will say this is a personal endorsement as someone who actually consumes Jack Murphy's content as a consumer and as a friend. I do vouch for it. And I think that the stuff that you're doing and the work that you're doing is amazing. And also, I agree with you, to the trolls out there that don't understand life, fuck you as well. I have to say that through adversity, there's very few people I've seen in this game that have gotten as much, not only bullshit.
Let me just pause there for a second. He says to the trolls. To the trolls out there that decided to ask this question or to start talking about it in the chat, F you. I'm sorry, but this is not a masculine way to handle anything. If there's something in your past that is contentious or problematic or people have some questions about or people want to talk about, that reflects on you as a person. And if you don't address it and they find out later, they're going to have some concerns. I like Jack Murphy's content, but when I saw this, I went, that's a big red flag. You're going to lash out at a woman just reading, or let me correct that. You're going to lash out at anyone, male or woman. But in this case, Sydney is a woman. That's why I say woman. Don't want you to guys think I'm white knighting for her. But when you lash out on anybody for any reason about your own past, you either have to deal with it or you have to say, hey, you know what? I was young. I was dumb. I made some mistakes. I learned from it, whatever. But just attacking somebody isn't the way to handle anything. And then Elijah Schaefer comes right back out, and he decides to lay in to the people that were like, hey, what is this about? Why didn't he address this? What are they talking about? Why did he just snap at Sydney like that? And now you're going to call those people white knights and incels and trolls? Give me a break. That's not how any of this works. Many of you has said things that are critical of me in the comments. Sometimes if I can find them, I can't make it through thousands of comments, but if I see them, I usually respond with my thoughts on something. And sometimes I've said, yeah, you're right, but let me clarify my position on this. There's a positive way to handle it and a negative. And just to call your critics or anybody that calls you out on something, incels or white knights or trolls, well, now you're starting to sound like a Hollywood magazine trying to defend some feminist agenda movie, and it's not going to work out well for you. Let me continue on with this.
There's very few people I've seen in this game that have gotten as much, not only bullshit past, but still continue to get fucking losers come out and give you shit. And I've seen you stay strong, and I've seen you stay alpha, and I've seen you rise above that. And so, like, for a lot of people, they're very entertaining, but in real life, they're not somebody who you'd want to be like or be, or they're not actually enjoyable people. But Jack's the real deal in real life. Absolutely kind and great person.
Absolutely kind and great person. Did you just see how he snapped when being challenged about something? And again, if you don't, I want you to listen to this part again, because this is key. He says he's the real deal. He's genuine. Now, we're going to get to the spicy stuff here in a minute. But again, hear this out.
They're very entertaining, but in real life, they're not somebody who you'd want to be like or be, or they're not actually enjoyable people. But Jack's the real deal in real life. Absolutely kind and great person. And so if you are a young man and you're trying to understand what it means to be a man, and there's not a lot of good examples, Jack has a lot of resources. And if you just follow his content and his work, there's a lot of good people too. It's not just you, but.
All right, so he's a good man. He's a real man. Just follow his content. Jump on board. Let's see what Jack Murphy's masculine, hyper-masculine content is. This is from his Jack Murphy Live webpage. Says, description, Jack is a writer, podcaster, author of Democrat to Deplorable, Why 9 Million Obama Voters Ditched the Democrats and Embraced Donald Trump. He said you can buy his book. You can read more by him on his blog. He's also the founder of the Liminal Order. Now, what is the Liminal Order? The Liminal Order is an exclusive men's organization where mission is to change our culture by changing ourselves. We ascribe to positive masculinity. Again, such as calling anybody that questions you or challenges your thoughts or decisions on anything, call them, F you and from the bottom of my heart, F you, and calling them trolls and calling them whatever because they challenge your thought. That's real masculine, right? We ascribe to positive masculinity. Again, like freaking out when somebody asks you a question you don't like. And believe in the power of individual accountability. Now, hold that thought. He believes in the power of individual accountability. We're going to get to that. The men of the Liminal Order know we must improve ourselves such that we may be better service to our families, communities, and nation. Through education, training, fraternity, and service, the Liminal Order equips the mind, body, and spirit to thrive in today's chaotic culture. For membership and info and more details, visit. He says this, okay? Remember, guys, we're going to be focusing right here on individual accountability. Now, after Jack said all this, his Twitter kind of got fired up a little bit. And he says the hosts, and this is regarding the recording that he did, he said the hosts and I were cool immediately after. It's only rage merchants, white knights, incels, and haters who keep fanning the flames. So in other words, he thinks it's even, look, when you're a little bit of a public persona and you're putting yourself out there, you have to understand, I put myself on here to express my opinions on things. And many of you disagree with that. And many of you attack me for that. And my answer is always, hey, you know what? You're allowed your opinions on something. We're going to disagree. You've never said, look, you've never heard me say, look, I'm right. And any of you that don't agree with me are wrong. I've never said that. Never will say that. I'm about individual accountability and individual paths through life. And if we disagree, I don't care. Let's have that discussion. But the people that not only called him out on his the super chat that she read about him and his cuck article, which we're going to get to, but now anybody that is like, hey, man, why did you do that? You haven't addressed it. You say you're cool afterwards, but why didn't you apologize on air where the offense occurred? They say, with nothing else good in their lives, I suppose they have the time to waste. So apparently anybody that's critical of him is they have nothing good in their lives. You see, this is a narcissism. This is I'm right, you're wrong. You don't have anything good in your life because how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you question me because I reacted a certain way? No. When we do what we do, we open ourselves up to criticism. Well, here's what they were being critical of. This is from Jack Murphy's blog. And the reason why I'm going to read this is, number one, it's a blog. He put it out there. It's public. He posted it back in 2015, and it's still up. Now, this is taken from archive. I think he took the article down in the last day or two since he was called out. But somebody was asking him about this because it's available. And if you put something out there in your past and people want to talk, if people want to find you relatable and believable now, you have to explain your past decisions. You could say, I was wrong. I was in a bad place. You know what? Hey, I make some mistakes in life. But instead, he calls everybody haters that wants to ask him about this. So let's look at his remember, wait, before we read this, let me jump over to the liminal order page, because this is where he wants you to join, because he even says right here on his page, he's the founder of the liminal order. Remember, individual accountability, masculinity. Okay, so let's talk about this. You ready? For those of you that are just listening, I just flipped over to the liminal order page. A monthly subscription, $99 a month. Annual, $790 a year. Platinum, a one-time fee, $3,890. Now, keep this in mind. I'm going to read down what he says this is about. He says, I've done a lot of anti-woke work since getting doxxed and losing my job. When I got divorced, my life was in shambles. I had no idea how to rebuild, and the world had already started to evolve. I felt like a stranger in a strange land. Believe me, I do know how that feels. Dating and mating had changed, women changed, men had changed, and everything seemed like a mess. So I did the only thing I could. I dug in, and I figured it all out. Jack's got it figured out now. I began reading various forums, catching up on the state of male-female relationships. I learned how to be more attractive. I got my ass in shape, and I dedicated myself to my personal mission. As my life improved, but the world had not, I began to wonder, why had things changed so much? Why did everything seem out of whack? Okay, so he says, hey, you know what? Let me just say this. I can relate to what he's saying here. Okay? My life changed a lot too after my last relationship. My life changed during the time that I was married and I got divorced. And I said, you know something? I need to figure this all out. But I want to figure it out in a healthy, positive way. Let's see how Jack figured it out from 2015. Cultivating erotic energy from a surprising source. Today, I sent my adoring, loyal, hot young girlfriend of 2 years to have sex with a stranger from Tinder. She's currently at his apartment, checked in with me via text, and is presumably S-ing and F-ing her way to a good time. I'm alone writing, and I couldn't be happier. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call a cuck. Plain and simple, cuckolding. That's what that is. So he's going to say that he's a masculine man who's someone to listen to, someone to believe, someone to find as a mentor to guide you. And you should pay him $99 a month, $790 a year, and or $3,890 for a one-time fee. Now, some of you might say, but Joker, you have betterbachelor.locals.com where I would have to pay $5 a month to become a supporter or $50 a year to become a supporter. That's correct. You do want to make something for your work. He charges 20 times more a month than I do. I don't even want to guess how much that is a year. And a one-time fee, you can be a member of his forever for $3,890. Now, I have no problems with him charging for his package, and I'm not trying to take work away from him. But you're going to snap back over things that bother you. You're not going to apologize in public for something that maybe you did that's egregious. And you're going to promote letting your girlfriend of 2 years go out and meet a dude on Tinder to get her insides rearranged, and that's manly?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, sir.
I think we have a different definition of masculinity. He said, now, before you write me off as another salon.com freak who wants to be a cuckold or some sort of spineless beta undermale, hear me out. This has been a long road. My manhood is intact and my D is hard. Okay, good for you. You're sitting alone in your own place writing an article while your D is hard, and in the meantime, your girlfriend of 2 years is getting her insides rearranged. That's very masculine. Congratulations. Let's give a hearty round of applause. Yeah, we call that the golf clap. I'm almost 40. Years ago, after my divorce from my blue pill marriage, I found Royce, Roosh V, and eventually Rational Male. That's Rollo Tomasi. Along the way, I made friends with Cernovich, and we came up together in the game. What game is that? The pickup artist game. So here, he's claiming to be a super masculine man. I learned pickup game, and I know how these relationships work. I've learned and practiced Tantra, various elements of the spicy lifestyle, and just about every angle for male and female relations. Apparently, his favorite position is sitting in the corner watching his girlfriend with another dude. I learned over time how my natural disposition is to be dominant. For submissive women, I'm practically ideal. Yes, he's so dominant that he allows his girlfriend to be with other dudes. That's very dominating. I've had girls, oofa. I can't read that sentence out loud. Let me just zoom in on this one. I'll let you guys read this one. I'll try to get it big enough you can see it. This is the one I'm talking about. Oop, right here. Let me center that up for you. Sorry, that's a sentence I cannot say on YouTube. I've had women that, yeah, this is the problem. That's the little one I have a problem with. That is not a good look, Mr. Masculine, Jack Murphy. Not good. Oofa. That just, but hey, good thing you're masculine and good thing you learned from those other gentlemen. And I'm not saying it's the other gentleman's fault. I'm saying Jack maybe took away the wrong message. Because, I know Rollo and the Rational Male. I don't think he's into anything of, let your girl go out and get, He said, years of being in a dead marriage, sexless, undesired, and unappreciated make me question myself, made me question my manliness, it made me question my worth. I agree with that wholeheartedly. That's one of the things we talk about here on my channel, is that the dead marriage, the being undesired, unappreciated, that is not necessarily a you problem. It could be, but you also need to better yourself, get yourself in shape, and realize that, hey, it's not always you. It's not always you. He said I was emasculated. In couples therapy, the 60-year-old shriveled arbiter proclaimed my urges unreasonable and that my wife had no obligation nor even a passing concern for the existential angst my unrequited energy was created. I was unhappy. My personal Maslow's unmet, but they didn't care. And yes, he got divorced, and yes, he got taken through the ringer for his divorce. He said, from that disorder, my new persona evolved. I made it a goal to become objectified. Was that the healthiest conception? Maybe not, but my ego demanded it for my survival. I had to become reaffirmed sexually. In many ways, the bedroom is about being accepted by the other person. Human beings are designed for attachment and affirmation. We need it. It's okay to desire being affirmed. Not getting that from your wife and not being able to get it elsewhere is damaging. It takes healing. Now, the reason why I'm reading all of this is because I don't want to take anything out of context. I want you guys to hear everything of his reasoning in this article. He said, so away I went on a journey whose goal was to become desired purely for sexual and physical reasons. I wanted to be the most memorable experience for every woman I slept with, to ruin her forever. In a good way. I wanted a lot of bedroom fun, and I got it. I succeeded. And maybe now I'm even satiated. Okay, this is one of the things that I say oftentimes about the top 10 and 20%ers that are going out and hitting everything that moves and having a lot of success with women, is eventually there's going to be a point where you're like, okay, I got it. He said the edge gets far from center eventually. Excitement and novelty can wear off. Even novelty can become boring. There's only so many approaches to the bedroom, so many different ways of doing it, only so many different kinds of people and lovers. For me, and those of us who like to push the edge, eventually the only areas left to explore become things you can only do as an evolved couple. I will disagree with that. If you find the bedroom getting boring, if you find that you're having all the attention you want from the ladies, and you become completely successful there, and you say, you know what, this is boring to me, congratulations, you've now proven what many of us, quote, men, or many of us guys, I'm doing the quote facetiously, what many of us guys knew already. Life is not about the bedroom. Life is not about validation from women. Life is not about getting attention. Life is not being searched after in that regard. Life needs to be more meaningful, whether it's making friends, whether it's having a good companion like a dog, and having hobbies, and having activities you love, doing a job you make, maybe chasing after some money. For some of you, God and community. There's many different things. The bedroom is one faction of it. But instead of coming to that realization, let's see what he did. He said, intimacy and vulnerability are essential to form the trust which becomes the launching point for erotic explorations. Unfortunately, over time, intimacy as practiced today tends to lead to extinguishment of that flame. He says, Esther Perel, author of Mating in Captivity, writes that intimacy can destroy desire and passion. When two become one, there is no gap to bridge. I agree. That's why you don't live with somebody. That's why you don't marry them. That's why you don't tie yourself down to them. Because when that familiarity can destroy the tension that's there. That's another reason why we talk about all the time not getting married, not living with somebody, and keeping a distance there. No, you can have some closeness, but there's times where you say, hey, you know what? I need some breathing room. He says that gap is where the energy lies. Creating and maintaining a gap between two people who live together takes special care. So he was living with his girlfriend. So not only was he dating her for 2 years, he was living with her, and he decided, well, he said, when my girlfriend and I decided together that I'm going to be aggressive with her whenever I want, that appearance of non-consent gives us extra energy. Turned her on like crazy. Okay, that I don't know if that's necessarily healthy, but you do you. There's a lot of this I can't read, just to let you know is why I'm scrolling. So, Matt from Tinder helps us to introduce another element which requires suspended disbelief. Just like my girlfriend knows I could nor ever would actually be aggressive with her in the bedroom. I mean, very aggressive. I, too, know that my girlfriend is not going to leave me for some guy she met on Tinder that day to sleep with. Okay, so he's not afraid of losing her, but he's okay letting her go and have another guy rearrange her insides. The entire experience is regimented according to my rules. I introduce her to the idea. I pushed it. I told her to go on Tinder to find someone. On the date in question, I tell her where and when to do it. She checks in me via text. I know where she is, and I'm waiting for her. She's not alone. She's on a mission sent directly by me. And the entire point is for me to get turned on in a way that wouldn't happen otherwise. I think what happened is he burned out his receptors. He fried them. And instead of looking for a different way to fix the issue, he just decided to share his girl as a kink. His girlfriend that was living with him, now he somehow justifies it by saying, you know what, it was my idea. I pushed it. I told her to go on it, but she's going to go where I want and who I want to do it with and under my rules. And she's going to let another guy sleep with her. I'm sorry, but if you're that controlling over your girlfriend, number one, to push her into it, and number two, you think it's a win because it was your idea, you pushed her into it, and she's getting rearranged, and that's masculinity to you? Sorry, gotta disagree, big time. And he's going on all these conservative, some are independent, but he also goes on conservative shows to talk about his experiences. Sorry, there's no part of this that is conservative. He said the excitement, the eustace, and the anticipation put me in a different state. I get turned on knowing someone else wants my girl as badly as I do. Yes, I get turned on knowing she is getting with somebody else. We've done it together where we picked up a guy at a bar, took him home, and I watched them. C-U-C-K. You ain't got no way to explain this. Yeah, you a cuck. Sorry. And then he gets angry when he's asked about this. That's the whole point of this. Is how dare you?
How dare you?
How dare you ask me this on air? How dare you ask me to talk about this moment in my life? Yet here it is on your blog. You're bragging about it. This is life-changing, life-altering. This is so important to me. My idea. I'm just going to sit in the corner playing shotgun while you two go at it. But this is the new masculinity, guys. Pay me $3,800 and something odd dollars or $100 a month, and I'll teach you how to be just as masculine as me. Sorry, not feeling it. And you know, you guys out there that say, I like this lifestyle. I'm into this. Because some of you guys do message me down below my videos, and you're like, hey, I'm okay with this. I like it. My answer to you is, good on you. Enjoy it. You want to write a blog about it? Go ahead. But when somebody questions you about it, you shouldn't get all butthurt and say, like, hey, I don't want to talk about this, and F you, and that hurts my heart, and F you, how dare you bring this up? If you're going to live by these rules, own it. That's all I'm asking you to do. That's masculine, owning it. I was indiscriminate in my past. I've dated women, and they're like, tell me about, your 20s, and I explain it, and they're like, big flag. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? You can either choose to date me or not to date me. I can't change my past. But I also own my past. I also own the mistakes I made. I also owned working at a club, a dance, taking your clothes off club. I don't know what words I can and can't say on YouTube anymore. I worked at that club. Yep, went on dates with those girls. When I mean dates, I mean, hooking up with those girls. Made some mistakes, but I own it. And if somebody said, hey, tell me about your time in the club. Like, what was it like? And what was it about? And do you have any regrets? And we talk about it. But to say, hey, F you for bringing it up, no, that's not manly. I'm sorry. So either you're lying now or you're lying when you wrote this article. Because if you've changed in between the two, discuss it. Say why this was wrong. Say what changed your mind about it. But you can't just have both worlds where you're like, I don't want to talk about that. But also, I'm masculine and I'm in touch with my emotions. And I'm going to teach you for $100 a month how to become a strong man. Sorry, ain't having it. I'm not going to read down through the rest of this. You get it. You get it. I'll leave a link down below, as always. Actually, I can't leave a link down below because YouTube actually whacked me on one of my videos for linking to content like this. I will post it in the first comment and pin it down there. But how can you be this guy that says I'm masculine, I'm strong, and also F you for bringing up my past, and I don't want to talk about that, and you're going to charge people money for this stuff? I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling it. Now, maybe you guys disagree with me. Again, I have no problems with Jack Murphy's political takes. I've watched him on Tim Pool. I watched him here on, was it Slightly Offensive or You Are Here? I watched the interview. There's a lot of takes of his I like. But when you're going to not only say you're masculine, but not deal with your past, not dealing with being a cock, yelling at a woman for bringing it up where she didn't even know what it was and talking about a super chat, and then try to sell your services, sorry, you're a grade A grifter. You're in it for the money. Or if you're not in it for the money, then talk about it. Say you made mistakes, deal with it. But until you do both and you're charging money like this to teach men how to be men, that's what we call the grift, and I'm not feeling it. Guys, if you'd like to support my work, links are below as always. If you have, thank you very much. Best way you can support me is like, comment, share, subscribe. Join me over at betterbachelor.locals.com where I charge a whopping $5 a month. Maybe I should raise that if I can get away with $99 a month. I charge $5 a month or $50 a year if you guys want to join me over there as a supporter. And we'll see you next time. And remember, always pay attention to who you appreciate. Don't go all in. There's many things probably about me that you might not like. But I think the big difference is when you try to sell yourself as something you're not, or if you are that now and you made the mistakes in your past, You better deal with it, because if you don't, and people don't know that about you, they're going to feel like they've been scammed. They're going to feel like you're trying to pull a fast one on them. You need to deal with what's happened in your past if you're going to put yourself out there as a leader in the Manosphere.